All right,
You're in.
we're in business.
All right, got a couple members in the waiting room. I'll wait to let them in.
Okay.
Live. Cool.
And you got the flag and all that.
Flag is all set.
Why do I even ask, Stephen?
I appreciate that you do, man, because there's sometimes every once in a while you lose sight of one little thing.
So I hear you're coming in Monday to go through some boxes.
That's the plan. If I can get time with Eric, I'm hoping to go on Friday to clear out my current computer, and that way I can just turn it in since my laptop's a district asset.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
So I'm just returning my monitor, computer, and the plugs and chargers, and then I'll clear out my CBOC stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not looking for it to be physically cleared out.
Okay.
So my intent is to find a storage place for it.
Okay.
But if there's, personal stuff you want to take out, whatever, if there's old stuff that we don't need anymore. And plus what I'm finding is some of the boxes are labeled with one person's name. And when they get inside of it, it's not their stuff.
Okay.
So
good to know.
That way we'll know whether it's your stuff or not your stuff or whatever.
Got it.
Yeah, we're the only ones. Oh, you saw the email on the CBA new projects.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we held out this long.
No. Yeah.
I'm curious if still only us two, but I'm curious if Dave will bring it up tonight.
No, I don't know why he would.
Okay.
They're not currently advertising any construction.
That's true. And track was just over that threshold, right?
Track, I think, is just under.
Okay. Well, it's construction. Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. And do we have a dollar value on that project?
I think we show.
Oh, we probably show the full 3.8, right? 1.9. That's the project cost.
Correct. And that's why I think you're right. I think it was like 900,000.
Yeah.
900.
Yeah. And she found gem non-responsive.
Oh, she did.
Yes.
Oh.
So that thing that we caught, yeah, could be an issue. Let's see what happens. We like gem, and nope. So we're going to Mark again, which is fine. I mean,
at least administratively, he's pretty sound.
Yeah.
And we've worked with him so much. But yeah, Marty just texted me CBOC tonight after I spoke with him twice. So he's should be getting on shortly. And then I spoke to Sahar actually a few times earlier and just ran through the agenda with her, what to say, and gave the background on Glenn since this will be his last one.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I did notice one thing in the agenda, so we may need to clarify. It says elect new president in June. We'll have to say, that could be the old, doesn't even mean a different person, just means we need to do an election every year.
Yeah.
So you may want to throw that in there when we get to that one.
Will do.
Okay.
Where is everybody?
I don't know.
I got Dave, Alba, and Glenn in the waiting room. I'll wait till 5 till to admit them.
All right, I'm going to use the restroom one last time and we'll be good to go.
Sounds good. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, Steven, how you doing?
Good. How's everyone doing?
Good evening, Stephen.
Good. Hi.
Hi, Glenn. Hi, Andrea.
Hey,
Hey, Glenn.
yes,
How you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you.
Last one of these, man, unless you plan on moving to another district and doing this all over again.
You know, as fun as this was, check it off my bucket list.
Okay.
Steven, that's quite the background. Good job.
Thank you. I would say I painted it, but I would be lying to you.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Odie, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you guys?
Good.
Gorgeous day here.
Woo, it's
Beautiful.
perfect. I have family from Minnesota. They're just hating it.
Neener, I think. is
Neener,
the
neener. They're
appropriate
actually pretty happy today.
Yeah. It's actually really clear here too.
Jim, is your office out at Quemac or Grossmont?
Grossmont. So what's nice is our next big project is 36, building 36.
Mhm.
And it's literally across the parking lot from me. I don't even have to go out to look at it.
Perfect.
You'll watch it grow in front of you, huh?
Yeah.
That sounds like a real project manager right there.
Yeah.
Marty. That's good. Looks like we got pretty much everyone that had RSVP'd. I think -1. That's good. And then I think Sahar and Ken are working on some district related stuff. I think they'll be on shortly. So we'll just hang tight.
Good evening.
Hey, Marty.
How's everybody doing?
It's good. Did you have a good
Oh, we
sleep?
talked about playing the trick on Marty that we were all gonna act like we couldn't hear him, so he would think there was something wrong with his microphone.
Oh, Dave.
I've just been ignoring his
Love
calls.
that one.
How gullible do you think I am? Oh, wait, don't answer that.
I
Don't
was gonna
answer
say,
that.
you want an answer to
I'm going on mute before it gets any worse.
that?
Good evening. Good to see everybody's faces, huh?
You too, bud.
So should we do an over under on when we're going to do these in person?
Ooh, man. I'll start it off with January 2022.
Really?
I'm curious to see what the procedure is because I haven't seen their Sahar, what they're doing for board meetings. So I'm not sure if they've announced in-person ones yet because we usually kind of follow that lead.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Hi, Sahar.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Sahar.
How are you?
Hi, good. We had a great tour. What was that, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Oh, that's nice.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Good.
It was like about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great getting people out and being able to physically show what was going on. Yep, it was the 6th or the 7th.
Yeah.
Wednesday the 7th. And you got to see Prop R and Prop V when you came to Grossmont.
There you go.
True.
Did you tour both campuses or just one?
So we did 2 tours, one with one group of people that did Cuyamaca to keep the group number small. So it was the construction members, and then we did a tour for newer members of Grossmont College. And so one of the things we can discuss in construction subcommittee is if we want to kind of flip that and do one maybe towards the end of June, some more tours.
Well, we have our quorum. We have everyone that we need as far as taking action tonight. So we can hold tight, Sahar. There's Ken as I speak his name into existence. Hey, Ken. Hey,
Howdy.
Carmen.
Evening, everyone.
Hi.
Right.
So as you know, Stephen, Lynn unfortunately won't be able to join us today as they're wrapping up the interviews for the Grossman College president. So she's not going to be here with us tonight.
Okay. Well, then, if it's okay, we have all of the CBOC members that RSVP'd. Ken and yourself are here. Marty's here. Jim's here. So I think we can go ahead and get started if that's okay.
Right.
Okay.
And let me share the flag.
So we'll call the meeting to order at 6:03, and we'll have the flag come up and have the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'll go ahead and get it started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Stephen. All right, and we will call for public comments. Do we have any, Stephen?
I did not receive any public comments ahead of time, so we are good.
Okay, we must be doing a good job then. All right, we will go to membership update with Sahar.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I'm not sure if you know Glenn Wilhite. Some of you are new members, but I'm very sorry to say that today's meeting is going to be his last meeting. Glenn is the foundation representative and served his third and final term with the Prop V CBOC, and also he served on the Prop R CBOC committee. And also he was part of the communication subcommittee and the construction subcommittee. So I want to really thank you so much, Glenn, for your service to the district's bond programs, and we really appreciate all your time and efforts with the district.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So
Glenn,
Glenn served under 2 CBOCs and on 2 different committees, so he underperformed for us.
Thank you.
I'll have everybody know at our last walk, we were at Cuyamaca, and Glenn shared a story with us that before it was Cuyamaca College, it was Monte Vista Ranch that I believe he said his grandfather worked on and his father kind of grew up on. So to say that he's got some lineage in the area is an understatement. And I just want to thank Glenn for all your effort and all your work. You're going to be missed. I appreciate you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Glenn.
So the district will be advertising for the foundation CBOC representative and be working with the PIO of the districts to fill that vacancy. And then going on the third item, usually at our first meeting of every year, we select a chair and a vice chair for the year. So at the next meeting in July, we will be selecting a chair and a vice chair for the 21-22 fiscal year.
Just add one thing, Sahar, too. I know when we were talking earlier, just a note too, it can be the same chair or the vice chair. It's really just a procedural piece, just as an FYI.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Stephen. All right. Dave.
All right. So everybody had the minutes emailed to you, I believe, a couple of times. And so I will entertain a motion for approval of the meeting minutes from January 27th.
I'll make a motion to approve. It's Odie.
All right, Odie, and do we have a second?
Second, Sparrow.
Okay, fantastic. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. And the follow-ups from the January 27th meeting, the performance audit criteria, Vice Chancellor Alusha Bond to provide the update on that. So you're back on, Sahar.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. So per the recommendations from the CBOC members, the governing board approved a resolution finally to include the additional best practices in the performance audit that we looked at our last meeting. And that right now the district is working with the external auditor to include those additional best practices in their audit. If anyone would like a copy of the resolution, you can email Stephen and he will send it to you, unless you would like us to send it to all the CBOC members.
Either way, if there's interest for it, I'm happy to shoot it out to all the CBOC members as an attachment.
Any question on the resolution or this process? Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, and after some very good revisions, we finally came up with the 2020 CBOC annual report. And I believe we've all had an opportunity to review it. Looks great. Up-to-date numbers and pictures and everything turned out really nice as usual. And if there aren't any questions, I'll entertain any questions about it, but if there aren't any questions, then we'll seek approval from the board. All right, seeing no questions.
Looks good. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, looks fantastic. Okay, so we will go to the subcommittees. Mr. Sparrow.
Yes, the audit subcommittee met with the auditor. I forget the date, and I also forget the name of the auditor. It was CWDL was the firm that had been hired to do this. And Stephen, did you send a copy of this audit out to everybody or not?
I believe I did.
Okay.
Happy to resend though.
That's fine. Let me go over it just quickly. It was for the period from June 30th, 2020 to, I'm sorry, from July 1st, 2019 to June 30, 2020. And they reviewed the supporting documentation to ensure that funds were properly expended for the specific projects. The sample size was about 70% of the total expenditures, which is quite high actually for this type of thing. They performed virtual site walks because of the pandemic and all that sort of thing. They couldn't get around, so they set up a system where they did virtual site walks to be able to see in effect that what we were paying for was actually being built. And then finally, they said that based on our testing, we verified that funds from the building fund, Proposition V, were expended for the construction, renovation, furnishing, and equipping of district facilities constituting authorized bond projects. So it was a clean audit. They had no problems with the finances and the operation of the district as far as Proposition V is concerned.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Great summary, Glenn. Thank you.
Well done.
Very good.
Well done.
Thank you.
And the name of the auditor was John Domingos. So.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Glenn. Steve, has Paul checked in?
So Paul is excused for this meeting. He had another meeting come up, but he did want me to relay to the CBOC that we didn't have a meeting this quarter and there are no updates other than just pushing through the final CBOC annual report, which will go to the May board, which Dave will be presenting on behalf of the CBOC.
He put in a lot of work, and the communications committee put in a lot of work on that report, so they deserve the vacation. So Glenn Wilhite in charge of the construction committee with his final construction committee report.
So we on April 6th had our meeting out at Cuyamaca College, and looking at the OH department and the work going on there. And I will say, being from the horticultural industry, and I've toured all the other community colleges between Central California and Southern California, and Cuyamaca should be proud of their OH department, at least from the facilities. It's very nice. It's comparable, if not surpass, some of the other community colleges that I've visited their OH departments just from their buildings and their facilities. So congratulations to that. We had a very nice tour, saw the new classrooms and all that was going on there. And I must say, from spending some time in those classrooms, it's quite the improvement. And I don't know what else to share about this tour other than it was a very, we got to see everything. The new greenhouse is really coming along, which will be will be very impressive too. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Glenn. I would say also add to it, it was a great tour. And I believe a few technical eyes caught a few construction irregularities that I believe the GC was going to address days after.
Mostly the architect on that one, Dave.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dave. Yes.
I figured Ken would address that at some point.
Yes.
There was some nice jovial comments.
All right. Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate it. So we'll go to new business with Mr. Bray.
All right. Thank you.
All right, get this up for you, Jim.
And again, if there's interest in future tours, we'll be happy to do that. Perhaps towards the end of June, we can do another set and hit both of the campuses again.
Where will math and science be at that point?
Math and science. So SSB, which is the one we looked at Cuyamaca. Oh, math and science over here. It should be in the earthwork phase, the one at Grossmont College.
Oh, okay.
All right. You can go to the next slide. As usual, we'll hit Grossmont College, Cuyamaca College, and then look at a cost savings update. And here's the first project for Grossmont College. This is a master pump station, and it's needed to provide a reliable water pressure for the campus because right now, depending on the time of day or where you're at elevation-wise, it's sometimes difficult to even use some of the restrooms. So we're working on resolving that. And where we're at is Padre Dam came back and asked for a final 4-hour study that we needed to do. So we've done that, sent it over to them, and they're reviewing that now. And so our intent is once they agree that the study reports accurately what the conditions will be, that will finalize the design and get this out to bid. We're hoping to go out to bid in October. But when we actually go out to bid will depend on what Padre Dam comes back with. So we're hoping to hear this the end of this week or next week on that. The next slide. This is 36, the project we were just talking about. And so the top picture is sort of a graphical representation of what the new building will be. You got a big wing to the left and to the right, and then a nice open area in the center that connects the two, nice breezeway. And then the bottom photo is the way the site looks now, minus the excavator. And so this is the one where we did the demolition of the existing 36 building early. So those of you who did the Grossmont College project just saw this big open dirt field there. And so where we're at is the contract's been awarded to Soltech Construction. The architect is LPA. We had the pre-construction meeting, and they're going to hold the CBA pre-job conference meeting on May 6th. And that's where as part of the CBA, the general contractor, subcontractors, the union business agents get together, give out assignments of who's doing which parts, agree to all that. And then the following week, we'll start on-site construction. So we're very excited about this. Good to get this one going. And this is one that I can actually see from my office window, so I'm excited about it as well. We will have a virtual groundbreaking, similar to what we did if you saw the one we did for SSB on Cuyamaca College. And so we'll make sure everyone's invited. This is the 200.
Hey, Jim, this is Fred. I just wanted to add, what's unique about this one also is it's the building that has the Veteran Center in it. So I think it's a big step forward on the bond measure because this is one of the promises that were made and it's finally coming to fruition. And I think it's something everyone should probably want to know about.
Yep, and they're going from like 1,400 square feet to about 5,000, so it's a nice upgrade. This is the 200s complex phase 2. This is their arts. It's got arts, dance, painting, sculpture in it. And so where we're currently at is we're looking at various options for this one. This will be one of the, probably the last project done on Grossmont College. And so we're viewing a mixture of remodels, new buildings. We've also been looking at the existing conditions of the buildings to try and prioritize what should be done and working with the campus on this process. So right now we're in the scoping phase on this. This is Liberal Arts Complex buildings 51 and 55. And so this is has state funding. So it's a partially state funded project. Went through a process that the district took it through to get state matching funding. And it's approximately 50% of the funding is state matching. And it's a renovation of 2 existing buildings. And it'll be very similar to what was done in the 31 building for those of you who went on that tour. And it kind of modernizes everything, brings everything up to current codes as far as structural, Title 24, electrical, energy savings, those sorts of things, but also make the classrooms more technology, have more technology, and be some more supportive to the type of teaching they do now. And the top and the bottom are just a couple of renderings of 2 of the new classrooms that we're looking at. So next slide. And one of the things that we realized from the walk is not everybody's real familiar with the campuses. So this should show you where these 2 buildings are located on campus. And 51 is the upper building, 55 is the lower building. And then you'll see a series of buildings that runs to the right of that. And those are buildings 52, 53, and 54. And so the 51, 55 are going to be the remodels we talked about. And then for 52, 53, 54, what we're looking at is upgrading the HVAC system. The system currently needs a lot of work. And then as part of the master plan, those may be potentially torn down in the future and a single building put in its place. So that's the plan for the overall complex there. And then here's just a couple of the photos of the existing conditions. And these are, late 60s, early 70s buildings. So the campus and district have done, some good maintenance on it, but I'll tell you, these pictures make it look better than they actually are. And there's also a lot crammed into each classroom. So we're making each of the classrooms a little larger and make it more suitable for the type of teaching they do today. This is the ornamental horticulture complex and building M renovation that was talked about a little bit earlier. The top photo is us in the lobby of the offices and sales building. And we're looking at the issue that Dave brought up earlier, trying to resolve it on site for him. And so that's the top to give you kind of an idea of, it's a really, really nice building. And then the bottom is a photo of the greenhouse that's going up. And it really is a complicated greenhouse. They've got a very, very modern, very state-of-the-art control system for water and ventilation and all that. So we think they'll be really happy with it at the end. And we've got substantial completion on all of the building portion of it. And the greenhouse, which was a separate project, we were hoping to have complete in May. The contractor is saying it's going to take them a little bit longer than that. So we're working with them on that. And in fact, Monday, they started working 10-hour shifts to try and start making up the time. So we're going to continue to work with them to get it completed as quickly as we can. This is the student services building. This is one that we saw on the tour that we took. And in addition to the student services building, which is a 3-story building, and there'll be some drop-off lane improvements. There'll be a flag circle when you come in, and then doing some ADA compliant pathways, because for those of you who've been to Cuyamaca College, and we'll show a photo in a second, it's very difficult to get around campus now. So we're putting in some walkways and some ramps. And even this photo is dated. If you look towards the front of the photo, all that gray stuff you see is reinforcing bar that goes into the foundations. And that's all covered with concrete now. So those are all complete. And it's a little hard to tell, but in the background, there's some vertical reinforcing bar. And those are for concrete shear walls, and those have actually been placed, and they're just about, there you go. You can see the wood sort of towards the back. That's the form work for the shear walls. And almost all of those have been poured, and they've actually got 3 steel columns up that they wanted to place. And they're looking to start setting the rest of the steel in mid-June. So they're really moving. We had an unforeseen sewer line, I'm sorry, that went under the building that cost us a little time, but we're looking to see how we can make that up as well. Next slide. And again, just if you're not familiar with the campus, just to give an idea, the area that's circled is called the Grand Lawn now. That's where the SSB project is going. And off to the kind of the right side of the circle is where the walkways and ramps will be to get you up to the upper level. The Cuyamaca has quite an elevation difference across the campus. And so that's to help with that. And then this is just a rendering. It's going to be a beautiful building when it's complete. And you can also see off to the right where the flags are, that's the flag circle we mentioned. And then the new drop off, or as Ken calls it, the kiss and ride area, which will hopefully help them with traffic control and getting people in and out safely. This is the instructional building, or the building F project. And you'll actually see there's 2 parts to this project. And this is a replacement of the existing F building by construction of a new building. And this one is Cuyamaca's project that has state matching funding. So it's, again, about a 50-50 split between Prop V funds and state funds. And so this is in design, and we're working through this. We're going to, if you go to the next slide. So this is to show what we're doing here. Up to the left, you see that building that has all the round edges to it. That's the existing F building. It's a very old building. And so that will eventually be torn down. And then you'll see the location for the new F building. And part of the reason, a couple of reasons to put it in that location. One is, originally the idea was to tear down the existing F building and then build the new one back in its place. And the issue with that is then we'd have to create swing space and pay for that, because the state doesn't pay for swing space, or doesn't pay half of the swing space costs like they do for other costs. So working with the architect and Ken and the consultant they have, we looked to keep the existing F building until the new F building is built. And that way we don't have to pay for temporary space. So that works out for us. And then the existing F building is larger than the new F building. And so we'll show another project in just a minute here that shows where the rest of that's being taken up, but it's going to be close to where the new F building is going. So they're still in kind of a complex, same area. Just to show you the existing F building. And again, the photos don't really do it justice. When we do a tour there, we should take a walk by, but it's an older building, and it needs a ton of work. So this is the second part of the F building project, and it's a renovation of the existing A building. And so all of the spaces that don't fit into the new F building will be going into these A building under a renovation. And the reason that works is the people that are in the A building will move into the SSB. So we'll have that space open and be able to use that remodeled to take up what doesn't fit in the new F building. And then the final project for Cuyamaca is track and field improvements, and it's for a scoreboard. And it's a installation of a digital display scoreboard. I mean, they're not just scoreboards anymore. And then there's some site work that goes along with it. We have the bids in. Those are currently being reviewed by the district. And we anticipate construction start May 2021, but that may push a little bit with the bid review. So we're working through the first low bidder and seeing if there's some potential issues there. So we may have to go to the second low. So we'll update what happened with that at the next meeting. And then the cost savings update, you'll see for Grossmont College, this was a cost avoidance working with the district's builder's risk provider. We were able to ask some questions based on some comps between Building 36 and SSB, and we're able to bring that price down, and then just some savings on change orders at the OH complex. So any questions? Thank you.
Yes, I have a question, a couple of questions, Jim.
Yeah.
Are any of these new buildings, or which of the new buildings are going to be CBA buildings?
So right now, and we'll do the CBA update in a moment, the only ones that are CBA are 36, which is currently in construction, and SSB. And a final answer I don't have for the newer projects.
Okay.
That hasn't been determined yet.
So we don't know about the future buildings.
Right.
We just know about the ones that are, okay.
Correct.
Second question, there seems to be a lot of education money flowing down from the federal government. Are there plans afoot, or is there discussion going on about integrating any of this funding into any of these projects?
Funny you should mention that, because we're actually working with the district now and looking at, there's a couple different funding sources, and Ken can talk to it better than I can at this point, where we're looking at what that funding can be used for. In several of the cases, it looks like it's for temporary things, but we're looking at what parts we can use that for to augment either these new projects or the existing buildings on campus.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, and Ken, I don't know if you want to add anything, or.
I just wanted to say, whatever funds that we do spend, we're going to spend them obviously very wisely, and we're trying to see which projects will actually be moved forward. So yeah, we are looking at the different funding sources. We'll definitely use them if we can, if it's legal and ethical.
Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you, Glenn. Okay. So should we move to the CBA update, Stephen?
CBA update. Marty, you're on the clock, my friend.
Thank you. I do have to say, looking at that student services building, it's such an impressive rendering. I was thinking back to when I was a young community college student at Cuyamaca College back in, and I'm dating myself here, 1989 and 1990, and the Learning Resource Center was brand new, and it was just such an amazing building out in East County. And to see where it's gone, that rendering is amazing. It's just, it's going to be great for East County. So congratulations to all. That looks great. So good evening, Marty Glaske with GAFCON. I'm here to give the Community Benefit Agreement update. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the history of it. And, a PLA is a project labor agreement background, and the PLA became the CBA. A PLA, project labor agreement, became a community benefit agreement when it was renegotiated, because when we really looked at what we were doing, we were really bringing a benefit to the community with local jobs. So we changed that to the community benefit agreement. Stephen, can you go back one, please? Just some quick background. The board resolution approval of the PLA was November 15th, 2016, became effective March 28th, 2017, and it went through March 28th, 2020. During that time, in March of 2017, we sat down with the CBOC, we sat down with the board, and we sat down with then Chancellor Miles to put together an evaluation plan to really take a look at the metrics and the KPIs of the PLA and be able to report on that. And that's what my report tonight will be on. The original PLA contained 3 projects: Grossmont College PVAC, Grossmont College Building 31, and the Cuyamaca College Ornamental Horticulture Building. Next. So yeah, as we put it to a community benefit agreement, once the PLA expired, the board resolution approval of the CBA was May 19th, 2020. And it became effective March 28th, 2020. And it was an extension of the existing PLA. And the current CBA contains 2 projects, as Jim pointed out: the Grossmont College Science, Math, and Career Tech Complex, Building 36, and the Cuyamaca College Student Services Building. Next slide. So we came up with a CBA evaluation plan. As I said, we worked with all the stakeholders, and we came up with some key performance indicators to take a look at the information coming out of the CBA or the PLA. We divided that into 4 key sections. They were local hire. We're looking at the goals in the local hire workforce evaluation, project cost impacts, project schedule impacts, and program cost impacts. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each one of those KPIs and tell you where we are today. Next slide. But at one point when I was presenting, Leonard Pinzone brought up some questions about what we're doing in outreach to veterans and local hires. And we put together this slide just to give you an idea, as I spoke about last time, that we've really pushed an effort to do outreach to local businesses, local contractors, and local employees who can come work on these projects. We've done that by attending outreach events such as job fairs, contractor outreach events, and we've also been exploring online contractor outreach opportunities. And we've also been talking to some of the other PLAs and CBAs in town to see, what best practices they're doing as well, to ensure that we're really targeting San Diego County and East County contractors and residents, while at the same time targeting veterans. That is so important to our workforce, and to continue to support them. And we've really done some effort recently, locally and with the contractors, to ensure that they identify their workers as veterans when reporting on this project. We've had some issues with them self-reporting and not reporting. So we've really been proactively working with the contractors working on these projects to clearly identify if their workers are veterans so that we can report that. And we also see the PLA and CBA in the building trades and the carpenters as partners. We can't be successful if they're not successful working together with us in the district. So we do a lot of outreach activities with the building trades. We attend their events. We talk about the CBA, and we talk about local hire and veterans. We work with them at various outreach events. And we have a monthly meeting with them where Brent Bishop, our CBA administrator, gives an overview of what's going on the CBA and talks about local hire and veterans, encouraging the building trades to put forward veterans to be able to work on these projects. And we made sure that the CBA language is included in the bidding documents to clearly outline the local hire metrics that we are looking to obtain through the goals. Next slide. Thanks. So first off, we're going to look at local hire KPI number 1. Our goal in the Grossmont Cuyamaca Community College District footprint was 40%, and in San Diego County was 90%. So let's look across at the projects that we currently have or have completed and where that ended up. Ornamental horticulture, that's a mouthful, is 21% within the district footprint and 87% for total San Diego County. SSB, 40% within the district and 85% within the county. Building 36 is still TBD. PVAC, 28% employees within the footprint, 80% within San Diego County. Building 31, 26% within the footprint, 80% within the county. And we should note there that there was some abatement activities that there was no local union to handle. So local 300 had to come in from Los Angeles and perform that work. So that had an impact on those numbers. And for the non-CBA projects, we're currently running at 26% within the footprint of the district and 74% within San Diego County. And it's important to note that LCP Tracker is not being utilized on the non-CBA projects, and we calculate them once the projects have been closed out, and we do that via certified payroll. And it's also important to point out that the percentages for both PLA and non-PLA projects are based on the number of employees, not the number of hours. And again, non-CBA projects are not tracked under LCP Tracker. Next slide. This is a snapshot of the ornamental horticulture complex as of April 2nd, 2021. So you can see on the left-hand side where there is red circles. For the zip list, total number of workers within the footprint of the district, 135 at 21%. San Diego County, 423 at, and I can't see that percentage, I'm sorry. Total local area workers, 558 at 87%. So thank you, 66%. So this gives you a snapshot of the ornamental horticulture that there was an 87% of local San Diego County workers on this project. Next slide. And for the SSB, Stephen, can you blow that up again? That helped greatly for my old eyes. Within the Grossmont-Cuyamaca Community College District footprint, 25 workers, which made up 40% of the workforce, and total local area workers, 53 to make up 85% of the workforce. So that just gives you a snapshot there. There's some additional information down about demographic profile and veteran hire as well. And again, one of the things we're trying to do is encourage the contractors to clearly and accurately identify their workers as veterans, so they may take credit for that, and we can count that in our KPIs. Next.
Marty, if I can bring something up, Stephen, if you can go back to that, the goal there on this particular project right now is the goal is 40%. We're overperforming just by a little bit there, but I think the equally as important or more important number is the percent of total hours worked. So 60, almost 62% of the hours worked on this project are dollars going back into the community by people that live in the community. So you've got 40% of the workers live in the community, but you may have, you know, guys that, or excuse me, members, workers that are working in the area that are bringing 60% of those funds back into the community, which goes back to your original point about calling it a CBA, community benefits agreement, because those dollars are earned and kept in the community and spent in the community, which was the whole point, I believe.
Perfect. Yes, that was the point. That does accurately show that the money is staying within the footprint of the district. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, KPI 2, project cost impacts. We wanted to see if there was a correlation between the CBA and any project cost impacts when it came to the bidding, and we can see by PVAC that the baseline estimate permission to award was 20, and I'm just going to round off, 24 million. Bid day result was 29 million. We had a variance of 4 million. It was not rebid. We should point out that the cost estimate variances can be attributed to the bid environment. Building 31, baseline estimate to award was 77.5. Bid day results 7.9 for a variance of 407 plus. It was rebid. And again, that was attributed to the bid environment at the time the bids went out. Ornamental horticulture, 11.5 came in at 12.6. Variance was 1.1. That was rebid. And the variance there was that the greenhouse was originally not included in the bid, and then it was put into the bid. So it was rebid with the greenhouse added to it. SSB, 26.5 million was a baseline estimate to award. Bid day results 28.8 for a variance of 2.3 million over. It was rebid. And again, that can be attributed to the local bid environment and scope revisions. And building 36 million, bid day result 32.9 for an under of 3.1 million. And that was not rebid. Next slide. KPI 3, schedule impacts. We wanted to see if there was any attributable schedule impacts to the schedule due to the CBA project. First, PVAC, baseline duration 646 days, contract duration 841. for a variance of 195 days. Now, if you remember when I presented last time, we had 0 in PVAC and Building 31 because we were putting together the report and getting the metrics. We are today reporting on these metrics, and it should be noted that variance of 195 was due to unforeseen conditions, scope changes, and errors in emissions on the drawings. So there was a variance error of 195 days. Building 31, baseline duration 339, contract duration 566 for a variance of 255 additional days. We should note again that there was unforeseen building footings, scope changes, and unforeseen conditions attributed to this project, which attributed to that variance. Ornamental horticulture, 470 baseline duration, 487 contract duration for 17 variance. And additional variance is being evaluated, but this had some effect from COVID-19 impacts where the job was affected by COVID-19, which caused the majority of that variance there. SSB 550 duration, contract duration still 550, building 36, 720, and 720. So that gives you an idea of the schedule impacts on the projects that are currently under the PLA and or CBA. Next slide. KPI 4, program cost impacts, what the cost impacts were of the CBA on the program. You can see for projects covered under the CBA, LCP costs was $709,342, awarded a construction amount of $117 million for a percentage of 0.6% of total construction cost is what the effort of labor compliance and CBA PLA administration for these projects. Non-CBA projects not covered under the community benefit agreement. LCP costs of $384,000 on $42 million of program awarded construction amount for a 0.9% percentage. Next slide.
So Marty, we're saving money by using the CBA method?
They're different projects and they're different metrics when we report on that. Based upon looking at this, you could say that, but that is not, there's a lot of factors that go into these numbers recording.
I was just looking at the percentage. I know it's not a huge difference, but the PLA and CBA detractors would say that it was going to cost so much more, and it looks like it's a very tight race.
And the only thing I would say on this is the awarded construction amount piece is it's just now factoring in the Building 36 award. So that 0.6 will probably go up here as we get going. So that awarded construction amount is just kind of inflating that percentage a little bit right now, just as an FYI. So those will probably balance out a little bit more here in the coming months.
Thank you, Stephen. Jim, did you have something to add?
Stephen took it. Thank you.
We were all moving to that finish line. Great minds think alike, right? So that just gives you an idea of the program cost impacts based upon awarded construction amount percentage. Stephen, next slide. And if we look at KPI 4, total program cost impacts, we can take a look at this through the years, starting in 15-16 to this year. CBA administration costs across, you can see it ramped up during the very busy times of 18-19 and 19-20. And as we've expressed a little bit of a lull, it's gone down a bit. LCP management of these projects under the CBA, it's incorporated into the admin. So that number up above includes the oversight of prevailing wage, apprenticeship, and benefit payment. Legal services, when we started the PLA in 2015-16, it just started. So we had about 6,000. And then during the negotiation period, jumped up to 37. And then during the finalization, 10,000. And you can see there have been no legal fees over the last 3 years attributed to the CBA. So for a total, you can see across, worked up in the middle where it got busy to 251.9, 221, and we've dropped in 2020-21 to 47,205. Non-CBA on the LCP across in 15-16, we averaged about 66,000. Then we jumped to 99,000 as it got busier. 17-18 was a little bit slower on the non-CBA projects. 18 and 19 jumped a little bit. 19 and 20 evened out, and 2021 is a little bit lower as well. due to the amount of projects going on at this time. Next slide. So that gives you an overview of, I see Glenn raising his hand. That
I have a
gives you
question.
an overview.
The top line, CBA administration costs, that's the GAFCON cost. That's what you collect for tracking this. For the
Yeah, that is the GAFCON cost. That includes all administration of the CBA, attendance at all meetings, all interaction with district staff, all interaction with unions. It's everything involved with the administration and management of the CBA. Any other questions?
All right,
Fantastic.
thanks, Marty.
Thank you very much.
And we will jump to staff reports with Sahar.
Thank you, Dave.
Can you see that, Sahar?
Yes, thank you, Stephen. So this is, as you know, the quarterly report we provide to the CBOC members regarding the expenditures year to date for Prop V. So this first page is a summary for the different projects by site. And just to briefly describe this report, so we have the funding plan and then the expenditures. The second column is expenditures from 13-14 to 17-18. This is how much we spend in Prop V, and then how much we spend in 18-19, 19-20, and then year-to-date expenditure for 2021 through March 31st, 21. And then we have the total expenditures since 13-14 and the balance for the projects. And then, as you know, we have been earning interest every year. So with the total interest, our balance project is 241 million. We in the process of issuing Series C right now. We've been working with our legal counsel to issue Series C in the amount of 100 million. So we're hoping that this is we're going to issue those Series C probably in the next couple of weeks or so. But as of now, as you know, we only issued Series A and Series B. So if we were to exclude Series C and D, our remaining balance as of March 31st is 49 million. Any question on the first page or the summary page? And it looks like in 18, 19, 19, 20, we have been earning a high interest rate, but it looks like that, unfortunately, that interest rate is dropping now back down. And then we break it down by site. So we have district services. Right now, there is nothing happening at district services. And then we go into Grossman College projects, how much we spent so far on each of the projects. And then we go into Kiyomaka College. And then after Kiyomaka, we go into, then we show the district-wide, and the district-wide expenses. Those are mainly all the IT projects, the program management, and other program costs associated with the bond. So those are mainly Prop V. Those are the first 4 pages or 5 pages are Prop V. And then this, we added a couple of pages for Grossman and Kiyomaka if there are any projects that we're using other sources of fund. So as of now, for the last few years, other than the Prop 39 projects, we haven't been using any non-Prop V funds to fund any of the projects. So that was Grossman, and then that's Kiyomaka. Yes, Glenn?
Program management costs.
Yes.
Does that include the CBA costs that we looked at earlier?
Yes.
They're included in that.
The cost of if it's related to the project, then it's included in the project. But any work related to managing the CBA, then it would be in the other program cost. Is that correct, Jim?
Sorry, yes, the CBA is program costs, and the LCP for the non-CBA projects is a project cost.
And that is not included in project management.
You mean program management or project?
I'm sorry, program management.
Yeah, no, no, it's not.
Good, sorry.
No, it's not.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other question? Great, thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
Right. That was our last meeting document. Just moving along to Dave for adjournment.
Well, I do have a question. If we, Jim was talking earlier about doing a tour. Mr. Wilhite has termed out. Do we want to nominate a new construction committee individual? And so that we can start to set up any construction meetings, or should we wait till July for that, Stephen?
We can, we don't necessarily have to nominate anyone this time around, but Dave, I can work through you, seeing as how I always put my communications through you, and we can kind of coordinate a CBOC meeting and extend that to all the members for a site tour. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So once again, I would like to extend our appreciation to Glenn for all the time that he's put into the district and all the seats and all the hats that he's worn. Very much appreciated, sir. Best of luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you around.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn.
You are more than welcome.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
So I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All right. Second?
Second it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, thank you.
Yeah, panic for a minute looking at like the annual report. So I saw these words hanging out, like transparency or whatever. And then I looked at it
You
again.
guys are live on YouTube.
Oh, all right.